The Daily Graphic is reporting this morning, commit to peaceful elections. Brihine is the one urging all stakeholders. And the other one, Sam Jonah, others brainstorm at Graphic Development Series today. Glyco Pension presents 3-bedroom house to our best teacher. In the Republic of Ghana.
It's been presented.
Yes. There is evidence of it in the paper. Yeah, no kululu. No, sometimes the people will come back after a whole year when we are going to crown another person. They'll say, "Oh, I've not been giving my own yet too." They say, "We are looking for a place to build a thing for you." Then I suggest that build it at cantonments for everybody. Everybody who is best teacher, build at cantonments. Well, the lands are cantonments. We took the lands from the Ga people to do other things, right? Yes, one of the uses you can put it is to give it to our best teacher.
Yes.
Rather than giving it to politicians, their friends, their wives, their family members, and their extensions.
Yeah.
And
I
so
mean, if you like, you don't have to waste space. You can build one of these estates with some, 30, 35 odd, what
so
are
that
they
only
called?
best teachers
semi-detached
live there.
homes. Yes. Yeah. They create a great community for themselves. They are excellent teachers. They live next to each other. They can, have all kinds of, points of connection and convergence and do great things together. Why
It becomes also a tourist site for teacher training colleges.
Take them there to go and meet our best teachers.
If you deliver very well, you can live here. You can actually have this kind of building. It would incentivize them. Those days they say your reward is in heaven. No? The people, they are not sure whether they'll go to heaven.
Get one.
So that conversation ended a long time ago.
Get one good management company to maintain.
A very nice. No, I get your point.
Why not?
So who made the presentation? That's EcoBank, right?
No, Glyco Pension.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But that's good because our teachers are stretched nowadays, especially because of the calendar switch. There's a lot of pressure on them. There's no break at all. Students going
and others are in school.
Others are in school. The moment the others break, they are there, and the teachers are on throughout the day.
Hopefully, they are being paid more for it.
Well, it's the same salary.
Pardon?
But more work means more pay.
Right. And
we haven't
I heard on the
linked
news
productivity to
morning,
pay yet.
That there's shortage of food again. Okay, in our secondary schools.
That they have not been sent money to the schools.
Yeah. There's no money there. And actually, at the weekend, I had a word with my daughter, and the picture she painted to me, I was scared. They feed them gari at every lunchtime. Okay, in the mornings, your breakfast is some kuku or some Hausa kuku or some white kuku. You have to come with your own sugar, your own milk. Okay, even the gari that I talked about for lunchtime, now they are told to come with gari from the dormitories. The gari they give them in the dining hall is not enough.
This thing, it really bothers me to think that just because of somebody's, whatever, we must send our children, our beloved treasures, given to us by God to look after, send them to a place where they will be fed worse than we feed our dogs. It's unconscionable. It really bothers me.
And the problem is that this thing is consistently repeated. And you sometimes, for example, when I used to ask about why are we having these problems, head teachers will say we used to be the ones getting direct food supplies for our schools until they basically made a district or centralized project. Then the argument of the GES at the time was also that when they go and do their own requisitions and get those things, sometimes we are saddled with debt that we cannot pay. So we surely want to supply from the end, which means it should be sensible for you to deliver the supplies. This is not even releasing money to the people. It's making sure that there is food available for them to be fed. So what is this conversation we had with buffer stock? All of these difficulties that we were supposed to resolve by having someone give it to the district. So for example, they say PERSEC is the one that's supplying the districts within the area and the schools around there because they put the food at PERSEC. The expectation is that food is there, they are supplying it. Two groups are in school, one is already on campus, fresh ones are adding up to it. If you do not do so, there will be difficulty. And I don't know why we always have to wait for that group to complain. If it's not Charles, it's still before we supply. before we supply the food to the people. I don't get it.
Let's listen to the report that was done on this.
The food is available but not in variety. For instance, you have some schools that are living only on rice. So in the morning they take rice water, in the afternoon rice, and then in the evening rice, because they don't have meat. Some schools also have meat, they don't have rice. Some don't have Tom Brown, So these are the information that we are getting from our members. And you can imagine living on the same diet, rice. So it's a source of worry.
I mean, come on. Look, if really the idea was that they were trying to solve the problem of being saddled with debts by schools, how do you deploy a solution that is worse than the problem?
Yeah. and we're told that the headmasters or the heads have been instructed not to ask the Parents Association to even support.
That's the thing I don't even understand.
Until after elections.
Hey.
Yeah.
Anyway, but parent associations are already supporting, right?
Yeah, they've been supporting
Yes.
until now. There's a directive that they should halt all of those things.
Well, but who is willing to let their child be made a pawn in somebody's political game? Who is willing?
Yeah, but that's what we do with everything. Even Galam say we all have to pretend that everything is fine when it's not. All right, so
before you move on, the other stories there I mentioned. Okay, so there's a special supplement on the 8th Ghana Energy Awards, and I need to make clear that Darokwa was the energy reporter of the year.
Akbafu.
And that's important. You need to stress that and say it nicely.
That's right.
Yes. And say it properly.
Yes.
Yes.
2024.
Yes.
Energy reporter of the year.
Yeah.
Daryl Akbafu.
Yeah,
Wow.
in fact, I just got to know that this award is actually prominent and important and relevant.
Very, very important.
Yeah, some people win and make it big.
Yes.
Well, now BECE grading system unchanged in spite of curriculum change. This according to WAEC, and this is in response to claims that some people are said to have speculations about supposed new grading system as fake. In fact, they asked the public to disregard it, and adding that if there was any change in the grading system, would have been communicated long time ago, and that the standard grading system is what has been used since the first BECE was written in 1990, and that WAEC has not issued. There's another point. WAEC has not issued any statistic indicating the pass or failure rate among students. This is the head of public relations at WAEC, John Kapi, clarifying that. I'm sure you've seen the video of somebody saying that, this year he suspects that the kids really failed BECE. Why that cannot be true is that if you follow that standard system, it's non-related. It's like normal distribution. Every time there will be 25%, bulk medal 50%, and there will be 25%. So they'll put all the grades together. So it's not possible to have a year where people really truly failed, because when it's put together, there will certainly be the top 25%.
So
you get what I'm trying to say?
It's a cooking of the books.
No, it's called a standardized system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which means that no matter what, the same number of people will get the same grades.
Yeah.
Is that not a cooking of the books?
No.
How is it
It's
no matter which
using
group of people
what's
write an
called
exam?
normal distribution, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What's the purpose of BECE? It's just a placement exam. You get what I'm trying to say?
Anyway.
So why should we have a gradation of a placement exam? We should just get to know people who are passing at what rate. I hope you get my point. So if you say 90 is grade A for every single year, what will be the point? Who are you comparing to? What are you comparing to?
It will mean that you can then compare the performance of one year to the next. But in this case, you can't.
For what purpose?
But for what?
It's
so
a
that you understand
placement
how well
exam.
your education system is working. Is it only for placement? Do we not want to get any other information about our candidates?
Standard doesn't mean that, because certainly a grouping, if they say set A at 75 this year, A grouping will get the 75.
Yes.
Others will get way below that.
Yes.
Others will also get very average grades. And that's the purpose. And you can still actually compare, not necessarily with other years. And I do not see the point with this year by year comparison if the only purpose is to know whether in 2020 we did better than 2022. I don't know if you get my point. It's because we start and get ourselves into the quagmire or pretending that, oh, I did better than you. And we put partisan slots in there that, oh, when you were president, we were doing better. That's
If
the,
we
but
were- if we
it's
were
merely
running-
for assessment.
If we were running our education system well, it would not be a matter of trying to do a one-upsmanship. It would rather be a matter of quality assurance, monitoring and evaluation. If last year an A was 90 and this year an A is 75, it is fair to say that you can't quite say that you can't quite track their performance from one year to the next. And unless I'm using standardized in a different way now, unless the grades are standardized, so that every year you are measuring your cohort against the same grading system. Then you can track performance. You can determine which year group needs more help, or which year group did what worked for which year group and what is going wrong. You can even track the impact of food, feeding, and all of these things if they change from one year group to the next. So it's important data. But do we use data for anything?
Okay, so that's the indication for why they've not issued any statistics on who passed or who failed in BECE, as is being alleged.
But I think these days, public relations officers do about 40% of debunking fake news than they actually do to improve the image of the organizations. In fact, there's so much fake news around that you struggle to even find which one is best, especially on social media.
And the cycle of recruiting them is also problematic. So this appears on social media. Some, for whichever reason, believe it. Others who even may know better. Then it is picked up and put into the traditional media system. Then made topics for conversation. Then expanded and improved upon and made to look like this is true. So by the time you get to the original source, it's been so filtered into the system that you might not actually track the elements involved here. I hope you get my point.
Yeah.
That is one part. So we have a responsibility to, as not people who regurgitate or who recycle and put back into the mill what is obviously fake news anyway.
Fake news, And yesterday I heard the Electoral Commission, they had to also debunk a claim that they were printing some ballot papers secretly with some political parties.
Something that has been shared also very, very consistently on social media.
Once again, here at Joy News, we know that we are often, used to propagate fake news. People put our logos on fake news cards and so forth and circulate them on social media. Once again, let me remind you, there is a way of checking whether the news card that you are looking at, which has a Joy News logo, whether it's real or not. Look out for the QR code, scan it, and it should take you to the specific story that the news card was taken from. The specific story on myjoyonline.com. If that does not happen, then it means that the card you are looking at is fake. Okay?
It is procured. Anyway, now before I move on, maybe SHS placement, 90% of challenges addressed. This is according to a resolution set up by the ministry. The last one, government launches project to transform STEM education in junior high schools, and has robots, STEM foundation empowerment, and the other elements connected to that. And because I know you are moving on, churches are being asked to fight social injustice. Churches are being asked to do so, and that's also in the daily graphic.
All right, because you ended with that, let me start here in the daily graphic. Nana fires election prophecies. The president is unhappy about men of God who try to predict who is going to win the election, or
even the ones that predict that his party will win.
So the president
we don't have that many of them this year.
No, but you see, President Akufo-Addo named all the people, some of the people who are top, what they call it, predictors of our election. When he won the election, remember, in his house, he mentioned some of this. Yes. What was the purpose for thanking them?
Owusu Bempah was one of them. Was
yes, that name I recall heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but
now he's against
but
it.
No, but it might be a general call, which might he's just saying that prophecy.
It's okay.
Yes, concentrate on other prophecies. Not election results, okay?
Well, at that event, the president of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, he was there. He called on political leaders to avoid defamatory statements that could jeopardize the nation's democracy. Okay, so the other story is the FDA and GSA launch common certificate initiative. I'll prioritize real industry. That's Baumia. And Burkinabe gets life for German wife daughter's murder. Please invite applicants for medicals. I think there's some recruitment going on.
Oh, really?
The NHIS combats illegal charges with e-pharmacy.
Before you move on, let me just tell you what the graphic business is saying. Staple food prices soar. Dry spell hits hard at tamale traders, and they've been giving some price differences. It's really going up. Until bill rates hit 8-month high, 91-day bill reaches 26.56%, and 5G rollout demands tighter fintech regulations. There's an expert giving advice to Eslausu and the ministry.
What's the dollar to the cedi today, I wonder?
Darrow said it is 17.20 pesos. They're still there. The dollar is going for 17.20 pesos.
Hey.
Wow. All right. So the Economic Times talks about that. cedi continues to depreciate. And
cedi2 should relax fast.
Second DDEP impacts financial sector marginally, and players optimistic of fast recovery. And Raymond, you know, all that we discuss here, in fact, 80% of the problems we have in our country is how our cedi is performing.
The Dr. Baden has a book, The Impact of the Currency Stability on the Stability of the Nation as a Whole. It's a very interesting analysis on how, to him, currency and inflation are your biggest worries. If you fix them, other issues, all other issues may be added onto you.
And the conversation is not about appreciation or depreciation, it's about stability.
Yeah.
That is what's valuable, stability.